Hey everyone, this is Jake O'Connor with Reactive Adaptations, and this is a video on how to reassemble your Bomber RS off-road hand cycle. When you get it out of the box and you completely unwrap it, it should look similar to this. Unfortunately, you probably don't have a nice rack like this to keep it up in the air, so you'll probably have to assemble it while it's on the ground. Step 1, reinsert the chest post. Just like that. Step number 2 is getting the axles sorted out to where they're facing outward. Cable should be forward. Caliper brake should be in the back. And this axle should be facing outward. Grab the tie rod. Make sure the tie rod is out, because the tie rod will eventually attach onto right here. Make sure you don't bend that cable around too much and crimp it. Axle's facing outwards. Cable is out there. Tie rod goes right here on top, like so. 5mm Allen key, 10mm wrench. And can tighten it up firmly. Okay, next step is to put the front wheels on. So with an 8mm Allen key, take the 12mm bolt out. Slide the wheel on. It says left wheel right there. Slide it in rotor first. And reinstall. And this bolt can be firmed up very tight. Make sure it spins. It does. Step 2 of that is to reinstall the caliper. So take the 2 bolts out, and that washer will be on the outside, you'll see in a second. You'll take the plastic insert that's on there and you'll take it out, and you can discard it if you want or put it in your toolkit. It's just there to make sure that during transport the 2 pads don't clamp tight together. Slide it over the disc and reinsert the bolts with the washer on the outside. Go ahead and tighten those up all the way. Those can be fairly tight, firm, and then spin the wheel and make sure that there's no disc rubbage. If there is disc rubbage, you can loosen this bolt and this bolt, and you can adjust the caliper to where it doesn't rub anymore. Okay, next step is to reinstall the derailleur. When you get the bike out of the box, it'll probably be taped to the inside of the swing arm. So untape all that and route it along the outside, and you can see that little nub right there at the tip of my wrench needs to go on top of this ridge on the derailleur hanger. Keep in mind these derailleur hangers are replaceable, so they break off instead of breaking your frame. And if you ever do that, give me a call and I'll tell you where to find those. But anyway, with your 5mm wrench, install the derailleur onto the hanger, making sure that that nub right here is up against that ridge. Okay, installation of the rear tire cassette goes inside the chain, usually on the smallest cog. Okay, Once it's installed, go ahead and tighten up the skewer. And it should take a firm amount of strength, but not be impossible to flip the skewer up. And once again, make sure that if it is in the dropout square, you should be able to easily spin it and there should be no disc rubbage. Once again, if there is disc rubbage, you can loosen these two bolts right here on the caliper and you can adjust your caliper so there's no brake rubbage. Okay, last but not least, we need to reinstall the chest cables. When they came out of the box, they were probably pretty loose, kind of like that. So before you install it, before you install the cable and the cable stop here, make sure that all of your connections are tight. Make sure the housing is inside of the noodle end and not outside of it. After you've done that, slide your housing inside the cable stop and spin this on right hand thread like so. You want a little bit of play. That might even be a little too tight right there, but you don't want these to come out. I like running mine a little bit loose to where there's a little bit of chest movement while you're pedaling, but you don't want them to come out here. After you're done installing that, with a 10mm wrench, tighten down the nut to where this won't loosen anymore. Tighten both of them down to make sure. And that's all there is to it.